I think if Trump decides to run for president again, he'll find some way to do something in WWE. But then again, with the new administration there, under Triple H, I don't think they're going to be very anxious because people will take it as a political statement, and then they'll need to give equal time to someone in the Democratic Party.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Machine, right here on Sportskeeda. You can also find us at WrestleBinge on YouTube and anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Folks, please help me welcome our two legendary guests. First, legendary pro wrestling journalist, Mr. Bill Apter. Hey, Bill.
Well, it is so great to be here. And, you know, some of our fans, you mentioned WrestleBinge.
Yes.
And so many of them have been binging on this show, so I'm absolutely thrilled. And don't forget, before Teddy hollers at you, go to
Sportskeeda. If he forgets, it's one-on-one with The Undertaker. That's what'll happen to him.
Sit up. But don't forget now to go to Sportskeeda.com, and there's a link to the Sportskeeda Awards right on the first page. So we are part of the Sportskeeda family, and you can be by voting as well.
Absolutely. And as you heard just a moment ago, we have somebody else, another co-host with me every single week, and that is WWE Hall of Famer, Holla Holla, Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Hey, and good afternoon to you, Bill, and also Mac. And I also want to say this, man. You guys are really great to work with. I was in the gym like a couple of days ago, and I guess somebody that saw our podcast, on the Sportskeeda platform, and they were talking about it, and I was just telling them, I said, man, I can't wait to do that podcast every week with those two guys, because it's so much fun. You know what I mean? We're having fun. We're not, trying to ridicule nobody and all this stuff, all that negative. There's some negative out there that we got to talk about, but we don't dwell on that.
No.
We try to stay with the positive and try to see what we can do to help the community and to give back and just to entertain people, and just to be able to work with you two guys is an honor for me, and thank y'all very much for having me.
Oh, hey, look here, the same thing, Teddy, and I haven't told many people this, and this is probably a good opportunity for me to do so. After my father passed away, I went through a deep depression, and there were two people in particular who reached out to help me as I got through all that. And they're both sitting here right now, Bill Apter and Teddy Long, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Well, that's great.
I appreciate that, Mac, because I never knew that.
Yep, Yep, sure is.
I brought Mac aboard when Bob Ryder was alive. I brought Mac onto OneWrestling.com when that site still was there, and he's been just one of the greatest journalists, broadcast journalists, and more so than that, a brother of mine, an extended family member.
Thank you. Yeah. That's how it is with me, and I think that's why this show works so well. Is because we all three agree we don't want dirt on this show. This is not what this show is about. If you're looking for dirt, this is the wrong place, because we're here to have fun, have a good time, discuss the current wrestling scene, as well as going back in the time, because this is the Wrestling Time Machine.
Well, wait a minute.
And the other thing too, we ain't gonna be on here telling no lies.
Right?
No lies.
So,
no,
Mac, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Shut up. Did you hear what's going on with Alexa Bliss? Oh, I'm sorry.
There's another show. You can go get all that. Welcome to the Wrestling Time Machine. As I mentioned, we are going to go back in time this time. We're not going to go back just 1 week. We're actually going to go back to April 1st, 2007. And that is WrestleMania 23, which is a big match on that card. And it was Billionaire versus Billionaire. You remember all this, Bill?
Yeah, of course I do. And April 1st, of course, is the first night this year, 2023, of WrestleMania out in Los Angeles. And you and I and Teddy will be there as well in LA. Of course, I remember it. I remember mostly that it was Umaga. Umaga with Vince Mr. McMahon in his corner against Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump in his corner. And the ruling was whoever lost, their corner man would have to have their head shaved.
And Teddy and I both lost that match.
Well, I'm talking two guys here who have their head shaved, but yeah, but it was something very, it was a thrilling angle there because nobody had seen a loser loses his hair match in many, many years. I mean, a lot of the companies, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, they don't do those matches anymore. And when they do, at times, they don't really shave the guy's head. It's just a little bit of hair taken off. But yeah, it was quite a time seeing Mr. McMahon with his head shaved, getting all the shaving cream on his head and squirming out of that chair. And
well, Teddy, how about you? Do you remember that particular night?
Oh yeah, man. You guys were sitting there talking about it, and I was just thinking then, that's what I mean about this. He'll go to, whatever it is, if it's all, about drawing money, and doing whatever he has to do. So here's the boss of the company getting his head shaved. There's 1,000 guys in that locker room could have been out there and got their head shaved. So that's what I admired him always about. He wasn't too good to do whatever he wanted anybody else to do. So I thought it was absolutely great. And then if people really didn't notice, after he did get his head shaved, he put on a do-rag.
Yes.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah.
and I was known for the do-rag back in the day, when I managed Butch Reed and Ron Simmons, Johnny B. Bad, and a lot of other guys.
Yep.
One of the things that I remember being talked about back then was that, because I talked to a lot of wrestlers about Trump at that point, and they said he was very respectful toward the business. He didn't come in, I'm a big star. It's what do you guys want to do? How can I make this better, etc.
That was something I was going to ask, actually. And Teddy, were you there at the show that night for that particular event when he came in?
Yeah, I was there, but like what Bill is talking about, whatever they went over to talk about whatever they were going to do in the match, I wasn't a part of that. But like I said, I saw him and he spoke to me, and that was kind of it for me. And I kept on going because, like I said, when you're a GM, you're doing stuff. I was kind of busy. So, like I said, nobody said nothing bad about him there at that particular time.
Yeah, a lot of people come into the WWE, and I hear sometimes they kind of play that prima donna. They come in with their entourage and kind of bypass everybody. And then it sounds like Trump may have kind of intertwined or kind of, participated a little bit in the back with the guys. So he wasn't off.
I didn't see none of that.
No. So he's still kind of protected back there then.
Well, he had at Trump, the hotel in Atlantic City. He had a couple of WrestleManias there, and I met him for 2 or 3 minutes when he was posing beside Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. I asked him a couple of questions, and he was just, the press was around. He was polite. He loves to be, no matter what the guy is doing, and I will not talk politics. No matter what the guy is doing, he loves to be in the spotlight. And that, having WrestleMania at his Trump Hotel in Atlantic City, he was quite in the spotlight during a lot of the promotion for those events. I want to ask you two a question.
Sure.
What is the most memorable loser loses his hair match that either one of you have seen? Mine was Victor Rivera against John Tolis at the old Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. And Tolis was shaved totally bald there. And I couldn't wait for that to happen. I couldn't wait to see, because he was such a great hated rule breaker back in those days. Wow. What about you two?
I don't remember any of those getting your head shaved but one, and that's the time that I got my head shaved for no reason at all. I already didn't have any hair, but Ole Anderson just insisted that Paul Ellering cut my hair, you know what I mean? Just, I guess, for his own entertainment. So that's the only one I remember is getting a shaved head that was already shaved. I never understood that.
Did you have two or three?
Yeah, I did understand it after, but I understand now.
Yeah,
Did you have 2 or 3 strands at least?
They just left it all messed up. That's when I went to the do-rag. That's what brought the do-rag into the picture, is when I got my hair shaved that time, then I started wearing the do-rags.
Let me ask you, when it comes to Trump, was he a fan of professional wrestling?
I mean, I don't know. I guess so. I guess him and Vince, were friends. I know his wife.
Yeah.
She worked on the campaign and everything, I think. And so I who knows? I guess.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I really had nothing following him or anything. I haven't. But Mac, you didn't give your answer. What about the head shaving?
I'm going to tell you the first one that came to mind when you said that, and I don't remember who it was cutting his hair, but I remember Adrian Adonis in the ring at WWE. He was getting his hair cut, and it must have been, I'm guessing, the barber, Brutus, maybe, or was that Roddy Piper?
Brutus Beefcake, yeah.
Was it Brutus? Okay,
yeah,
that's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah.
And outside of that, really, I can't think of any other ones other than the Billionaire versus Billionaire.
Yeah. Do you think Trump would have, if they had asked him to be the Vince part and lose that match and get his beautiful blonde hair cut, do you think he would have gone for that, Teddy?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't either.
As a fan watching at that time, in the back of your mind, you're going, there is no way Donald Trump is going to shave his head.
Right.
But still, there was still that little bit that wasn't quite sure. Maybe, just maybe, he does get his head shaved.
Yeah, but see, it wouldn't make sense to shave Donald Trump's head because it wasn't going anywhere. There's no story there. So why would you do that? And if you're not carrying that on, so it wouldn't even make any sense anyway. Like I said, I don't think he would have done it.
Hey, how are the guys in the back, Teddy, after Vince got his head shaved? Look, it's funny. I don't care who you are. When somebody shaves their head the first time, if they've had a full head of hair, they're going to look odd. There's just no way around it. Did the guys in the back bite their lip and try not to acknowledge that he got his head shaved?
Well, yeah, you better bite your lip. Yeah,
he played it off well in the ring.
But you know what? I really believe at that moment in time, Vince understood too, and I don't think he really would have got mad with anybody if they'd have kept him
I think you're right
about him shaving it. He'd have probably liked that because that'll let him know he did his job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
let me ask you also, there was somebody else in this match, one of the participants, and this is the participant for Vince McMahon. He chose Umaga. I hate the fact that we lost Umaga. I thought he was an incredible talent in the ring, especially with this manager. It was Armando Alejandro Estrada or something like that, right? Something like that. Whatever happened with Umaga's push in the WWE?
I have no idea. I think he got an injury. I mean, right before before he quit coming to TV or something. I did hear about an injury, but other than that, I don't know. I don't think he was having any problems.
No, I don't either. I think that there was storyline. Where do we go next with him? But he's the guy who came up with that taped Ernie Ladd thumb, right? And now in history, coming back to 2022 and 2023, Solo Sikoa has paying homage to Umaga doing that same thing, and that's a vicious maneuver for the fans to witness because it looks so genuinely real.
Can you imagine if Umaga was still here and could participate in that bloodline storyline? That'd be just incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what I think, too, now, and they might have missed it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think there was a spot in there somewhere for Rikishi.
I was just going to say that.
Maybe just a one-time thing because he's the father. A man of the father needs, when your kid's out of control, the dad has to step in. That's real with me. So I think they missed that. It may still happen. I don't know, but this is my idea. But I think they missed it.
See, this is why I love this show. Even though we go back in the time to a certain date, whatever comes up, and I love it when we do this. And I agree. I think that's a missing element in that story so far. I was actually wondering why they haven't used him, and I thought to myself, maybe I just missed it. Maybe they did, and I missed it somehow. But I don't think so.
Well, they may save it to lead. I tell you what, it'll be a good tease to go into WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a great tease. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Have him come out with Cody.
Well, I would have him come out with Cody, but maybe when they all get down there, I might tease or something with, maybe have him look at Cody. That's all. Give him just that. Now you don't know what's going to happen.
There's one guy we're not talking about who is such a large part of that whole McMahon-Trump angle, and that was Bobby Lashley.
Yes. Yeah, Bobby at that time, he was the ECW world champion too. So he comes in for Trump to take on McMahon's Umaga. And again, Bobby Lashley at that point was still young, but I swear to you, I can't tell the difference in Bobby Lashley then and Bobby Lashley now. He looks young and jacked up and in shape, and he still looks that way to this day.
Well, Bobby is he's a gym rat. You know what I mean? He's no alcoholic. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do any hard drugs or nothing like that. So he eats, keeps a good diet and trains. So you can look like that when you ain't abusing your body. You know what I mean? Once you take care of the body, then the body will show you. So he takes care of his body. He doesn't abuse his body. And that ain't just for him. That's for me, you, Mac, Bill Apter. If you take care of your body, don't abuse it, then it won't look bad.
That's why I have my giant thing of Tic Tacs here.
Bill,
and I know there are people
have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Oh, well, you're talking about taking care of your body. So, one of the things, though, that is amazing, because you mentioned that he's a gym rat. I was doing an interview for our Sportskeeda Awards with Dutch Mantel to see who he picked, etc. And one of his picks was Sami Zayn. And he said, this guy looks like he doesn't, he's a major star. Look at what his drawing power and everything. And yet he doesn't look like he goes to the gym at all. Why Sami Zayn?
Because what he did was not necessarily in-ring action, but he gave connectivity to the fans. They feel him.
Yeah.
He is just like them. You take most of those guys out there, and let's be honest, Sammy don't even look like he's walked by a gym in 10 years.
You're right.
But he goes in there and he's like them. I mean, he's not all muscled up and all this, and he's funny and they like him.
Well, Teddy, what do you think about wrestlers who look like a Sami Zayn and perform like a Lashley?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody ain't got to go to the gym to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just that simple. I know a lot of guys back in the day never went to the gym or nothing, but came out and performed. Ron Simmons was a guy that went to the gym, but Ron Simmons wasn't a gym rat. Ron Simmons would go in the gym maybe once a month and lay down and bench press 600 pounds, do it 10 reps. Okay, maybe come do that maybe a couple of days, and he didn't do nothing else until maybe a month later. So I'm just saying, it don't take the muscles and all that to be a big star. Look at Rey Mysterio. Okay, he's the biggest star ever in professional wrestling. He ain't no gym rat. He goes to the gym, but he ain't one of these big jacked up guys. So I think that's what's so good with Sami Zayn is whatever he's doing, it's real. It's Sami Zayn. You ain't getting nothing but the real guy, Sami Zayn. That's what you're getting, and I think that means a lot.
Now, when it comes to the look of the wrestlers, I will say that I do like to see the fact that maybe the wrestler at least works out or takes care of his body. I don't want to see some, slug walk in there and act like they're a wrestler, because you see that too much in independent wrestling now, where they don't have official gear, they don't have real boots on, and they haven't walked into the gym. And they look more like they walked out of a corner supermarket and just, hire for food or whatever it is. Some of them just don't have that look. So I agree that they don't have to have that muscle man body, but at least look like you take care of yourself.
Well, a lot of people don't take care of themselves. You know what I mean? So I don't care. You can preach to them all day long.
Yep.
The only thing they'll say, well, I hear what you're saying. You know what? You're right. I'm gonna sure try my best to get in there. So all that, that's a bunch of bull right there.
What about
and people shouldn't, you ain't got to work out to be a wrestler. You need to work out and train and take care of your body, whether you're a wrestler or not. It's called staying alive.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Staying alive.
I knew you were going to go there, Mike. What do the two of you think of this? one of the things that impresses me about Lashley and Wardlow in AEW is they come out in sport jacket or suit jacket looking like an athlete, but not coming out and showing their bodies sometimes. How does that, because there's sometimes like in AEW with Wardlow, the guy's got a really good bodybuilder build, but every time they bring him out, he's got his street clothes on. And with Lashley as well, sometimes he comes out, he looks great, but he's got his street clothes on.
Well, I think with that, that's good, because it ain't like he's hiding it. You've seen him. You know what that physique looked like. You know what he looked like without that suit on. So I think it's a good change of pace, you know what I mean, for him to come out, because he really, guys, jack guys, they look real good in their suit and ties. They look real good, real like businessmen. So I like the change up, you know what I mean? You'll know what he looks like once he steps into that ring. He ain't got that suit on. So, just to change a look, I think is just good.
Now, I will say on the flip side of the coin is that I do hate when guys come out in their gear to cut a promo but have no match. That drives me crazy. It's like, well, why did you go in the back and get dressed for a match when all you're doing is cutting a promo?
Yeah, it's because sometimes they don't know. You know what I mean? They'll get there and they'll tell them, where you're working tonight, and all of a sudden that might get scratched. So you're already dressed, so you why put your clothes back on? It don't make sense.
Well, I hear Sergeant Rufus.
One of the earliest things I ever heard a promoter say, and it might have been our old friend Ole Anderson, is one of the dumbest things you could do is be a wrestler, show up at the arena and not bring your frickin' gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. You always bring your gear, whether you're working or not, because you could be, and I've seen that happen. Some guys, they'll tell, hey, you got your stuff? Go get it on. We're going to use you.
Yeah.
But in fact,
guys not do that? Have you seen guys not show up with gear?
I was just about to say that Teddy and I were doing an independent show last year, towards the end of the year, and a guy comes in. We needed somebody on the card. He asked to work, and he had no gear. Zero gear. He just had his shorts on that he came in. It's like, well, why would you ask to work if you didn't bring your gear? Just crazy stuff out there. So, yeah, it still happens, at least on the independents. I doubt seriously any of the guys that are serious about the business will do that anymore.
I didn't let him work.
That's right. Didn't let him work. Hey, by the way, one of the things that also went on in this match, and I don't want to gloss over this, was Stone Cold Steve Austin was the special guest referee in that hair versus hair match. Bill, do you remember how Stone Cold got into all this?
His feud with Vince McMahon.
So it was just like,
which is one of the hottest feuds ever in professional wrestling. That whole scenario with McMahon and Stone Cold turned Vince McMahon into the best heel I think I had ever seen. It didn't matter whether Vince could work in the ring or whatever, if he could take a couple of stunners, but the way that whole thing happened, a boss against the worker, that was fabulous. Teddy, what do you remember about all that time?
Well, everything was good there because that's reality. Every guy right now wants to kick their boss's ass.
Yes.
Mine's a woman.
If the boss is a bad, is an asshole.
Yeah.
So, every guy's going home every day. God, I just wish one day I could just walk in there and I could just knock his, you know what I mean? So they portrayed the deal that everybody wanted to do, but they let you saw it, and so I thought it was absolutely good. I mean, the time Vince was in the hospital, Austin slides in there, beats him up with a bedpan. You know what I mean? Come on. That's good. That's good stuff right there.
I'll be honest with you. I think that storyline is what saved WWE. I think it kicked off with the spark of Mike Tyson. And from that Mike Tyson moment on, boy, it was on. It was on. And I don't think that WCW had a chance after that because the natural chemistry between McMahon and Stone Cold was just incredible. I mean, it's just simply incredible.
Well, Vince was a guy that could work with anybody.
Yes.
So, you didn't have no problem with him. You could work Vince because he knew how to do his own stuff. So wasn't no problem with him. If you worked with him, then you ain't got to worry, man. You all right.
And I think right after the Montreal screw job, that really solidified him to be so hated by the fans.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it did. It made him cemented as far as the heel and the top heel in that company. And I don't know. Has there ever been a better heel than Vince McMahon in WWE?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I mean,
one thing that there is a similarity between Vince McMahon and Donald Trump, and they both had a saying that they love to use, and that's "you're fired." Question is, who did it best? Donald Trump or Vince McMahon?
I would say Vince.
Me too.
Three of us in a row. I like the way he said it. Donald's was always kind of laid back. Oh, you're fired.
He probably got it from Donald. I mean, from Vince.
Yeah, I wonder that. I wonder if it came from one or the other.
But see, Vince know how to put emphasis on it. See, Trump didn't know how to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Vince fired. Right. Meaning something.
Vince had venom.
He did.
You're fired.
You could just feel the spit hitting you in the face while he was speaking. He was just that mean and evil sounding.
Yeah, and sometimes he'd put one word in front of it. He'd go, "Unquestionably, you're fired." He loved saying "unquestionably." I don't know why.
Is there a chance anywhere down the line you think, and I know that Vince McMahon always says never say never, would we ever see Donald Trump back in the WWE?
No, I don't think so, man. Not now. That company is, moving on in a whole total another direction. So
I agree.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't even see Trump got time for that.
So Trump,
but I think if Trump,
you're fired.
Yeah, I think if Trump decides to run for president again, he'll find some way to do something in WWE. But then again, with the new administration there, under Triple H, I don't think they're going to be very anxious because people will take it as a political statement, and then they'll need to give equal time to someone in the Democratic Party.
We've been talking about WrestleMania 23. I do want to talk about another match that's taking place at the WrestleMania coming up, and that's between Bobby Lashley, who we've been speaking about, as well as Bray Wyatt. Any thoughts or predictions, Bill?
In my opinion, to put Bobby Lashley in these scenarios with the Funhouse with Bray Wyatt makes very little sense. I think it's just the wrong guys in the wrong storyline. I don't think Bobby Lashley belongs in the Funhouse thing. If you saw him walking up the aisle at Monday Night Raw, and he was watching all the silly videos that they've made, he didn't really know how to react. I don't think Bobby Lashley belongs in that storyline. That's and I don't think he is crazy about it, but you do what the company wants.
Well, I'd have to agree with Bill too. I don't think Bobby has any business in that storyline too. But my thing is this. My prediction would be this: Bray Wyatt is a second generation. Okay, come up, grew up with nothing but the best. Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda, his father. So experience is what's going to be the main factor here, and I think that's what's going to get Bobby Lashley is experience from Bray Wyatt.
Unless they do some sort of shtick in the match, the supernatural stuff. I
hope not. I really don't understand why this match even came about. It seemed like it was a second thought. It's just like, I was like, well, we'll just throw those two together, because that's what it felt like. It felt like it was thrown together. And I hate that Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley is in this match, because like you say, it makes zero sense. But Bray Wyatt's missing something. I don't know what it is, why it's not clicking. I don't know if it's the stories. Something's just not happening with Bray Wyatt, and they need to fix it, because he's an incredible talent.
Because it's taking too long.
The only thing missing from Bray Wyatt is he doesn't have the right opponent yet.
Correct.
That's what's missing.
Correct.
And until they find the right guy, and there's a guy out there, that will fit right into that story with Bray Wyatt, then it just ain't gonna happen. Because, like I said, I'm like you guys. Bobby Lashley, Bray Wyatt doesn't make any sense at all. But we got to also remember this: WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yep.
Right. But you see, the thing is here, they went out of their way to somehow connect him with the Undertaker. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
that
think
was
they were
it.
saying,
Where
yeah,
did it
maybe
go?
I think maybe what they were Undertaker was maybe passing the torch.
Yeah, but where did it go? It didn't go anywhere because they.
Yeah, I agree. That's everything kind of stopped. It was kind of an odd thing to me.
Well, here's the thing: we don't know yet.
That's
You know
true.
what
It can play out and be something.
We don't know yet. Let's just wait because they can always go back to the old footage to show where it all started. So
Correct.
let's just wait and just see because a lot of things don't happen right away. Sometimes it takes their time.
I think a lot of people are hoping that Bray Wyatt's going to be the next Undertaker. And I think when people get past that and quit waiting for the Undertaker #2 to show up and just accept the people for who they are in the ring and their talent, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Because Bray Wyatt will never be the Undertaker.
No,
okay,
not at all.
So I'm exactly right. Like I said once before, I saw a guy on one of these indies just screaming, "Yes, yes, yes! You are not Daniel Bryan, and you will never be him. Come up with something that people can remember you by." So that you're exactly right. Bray Wyatt will be a big star. That's no doubt about that. He just they got to get the right opponent.
They had the Bray Wyatt character down perfectly. And they kind of, killed it off when he left. And when they brought him back, the storyline every week just didn't really go anywhere. It just didn't. And now it's like, I'm on TV. What do we do?
Yeah, I kind of feel it's the same thing. I think they're just finding something to put out there every week versus having a real story that's in mind for where they want to go.
Well, right now, man, they just got so many things going on till Bray Wyatt is just kind of caught up in the mix.
Yeah, I did see that Triple H is trying to keep the WrestleMania card a little bit light with only 6 matches per night versus what they've done in the past. And I saw that today. So,
well, that's good. I mean, why sit those people in that building all night long?
Yeah, it's the last time I watched the pay-per-view, and I think I mentioned this on the show. It just took every bit of energy I had by the end of the night to even stay awake to watch the main event. It was 5.5 hours long. That's a long time for a pay-per-view.
Well, you're not going to be able to fall asleep when we're there in person.
That's right. I can't fall asleep. Well, I won't do that anyhow. I'll just have some Red Bull. And they're not a sponsor either.
I'll have my Fruit Adventure Tic Tacs. So.
Well, guys, that's it for this week's Wrestling Time Machine. Bill, anything coming up we need to talk about with you?
Yes, I will be going to that, and I've been getting a lot of response to this. I will be going to the Chillicothe, Ohio Big Time Wrestling Fan Fest. I will be there coming in on Friday night, staying for the Fan Fest during the day, and in the evening, I'll be hosting a National Wrestling Alliance Q&A. And then flying out on Sunday. So I hope to see a lot of you there. And Mac and I will be attending WrestleCon. So we won't have a table there, but we will be there doing video interviews, and we may be interviewing some of you fans too. So be ready.
Never know. How about you, Teddy?
No, I'm just chilling.
Aren't you going to North Carolina?
This weekend, no. I'm going up to Rockwood, Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay.
To the Rockwood High School up there, big fundraiser. So try to help those kids get some uniforms or whatever they need to kind of help them, win some games.
And on May 13th, you'll be able to catch Teddy and I at St. Louis, Missouri. We'll be there for the SICW Fan Fest. I promise you need to go by and get tickets. This thing is getting really big, and it's growing day by day. Go to SICW.org. I just about lost my voice there. SICW.org. All right, this is the Wrestling Time Machine. I am your host, Mac Davis, along with WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long and wrestling journalist Mr. Bill Apter.
We'll see you at Sportskeeda.com. Click on that link to go to the Sportskeeda Awards, and we'll see you at the matches.
Holla!